Hello, everyone. Here we are, me and Michelle, because Anna is now traveling back from Europe. And we are here to do the show today. And we are talking about the cocktail called the Capital. And we're talking about capital gains and what it is that you can expect versus myth versus truth. Because there's a lot of kind of things that go on there about capital gains. We're going to talk to you about what's happening with capital gains right now, which is actually kind of a super cool, like super geeky real estate story if you're really excited about it like I am. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So hang on one second. Let me do the editing. Nope, wrong one. We are going to start with the cocktail. But Michelle's actually going to make her own cocktail at the same time that I make it because we're going to teach her how to do this. So we're actually starting out
practicing
with these big, huge, goodness, why can't I? Sniffer glasses. I can't even remember the word today. So, but what I had to start off with was this. And now this is actually half honey, half black molasses. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it and I have to kind of rim it around the inside of the glass so that it kind of looks like fancy and stuff. So it's really liquidy because we've actually warmed it up. And we're doing this so that it's on the inside of the glass. So it looks kind of nice and fancy.
Should I do that too?
Well, yes.
When you're finished?
You're going to grab yours, and then you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to rim it around the inside of your glass.
They make it look easy in bars.
I know they do, because they do this all the time. You could take it like a bigger spoon. Hang on. Maybe easier if you use a bigger spoon.
Sure, let's try that.
There.
All right,
so there, use that. So molasses and honey. So it's like sweet molasses.
How much?
Just enough. You don't. Yeah, you just want to make like little lines of it. There you go. There. So there. So you rimmed our glass. So we've got our molasses and honey in there. Now we're going to take our blackberries and we're going to put them in the bottom of our glass.
I'm excited for this one. I didn't have some breakfast, so this will be my breakfast with these blueberries.
And then we're going to take our smasher, and this is where you really kind of work your anger out, and it's called muddling. So muddling is just basically squishing all the blackberries down, letting all the juices and oils and everything out at the bottom of your glass. Just like this. See? So I basically now have at the bottom of my glass blackberry mush, which you're going to make.
All right.
So, blackberry mush. And now we're going to put crushed ice into the glass.
I feel like I'm going to break these glasses.
Don't break the glass.
I'm going to try not to.
Okay. So now we've got crushed ice in there with our blackberries, with all of our molasses and honey. So put your crushed ice in there.
Oh, goodness. Okay. How much did you put in?
Just
quite a bit.
Like quite a bit, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So you got that, and now we're gonna put ice into our shaker. And sorry, we're gonna have to do one of these at a time now.
Okay, no worries.
We're gonna put ice into our shaker. And this was actually a really complex drink, so I actually made it last night because I was a little bit nervous. Oh, sorry, we didn't even do this. Look at that. Okay, there's the instructions. But yes, I was actually pretty nervous about making this drink last night, so I made it last night for Clint just to make sure. So we're going to start off with our orange bitter, just because it's an easy thing to put in. Then we're going to throw in our 2 ounces of bourbon. So we've got that in there. Then we're going to throw in our 0.75 ounce of lemon juice. And then I made this ginger syrup last night. And it's just basically sugar and water and ginger. And you boil it over the stove and you reduce it. We're going to put that in there. And then we are going to shake. And actually, I'll tell you, Clint thinks you won the shaking dance.
What? Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we got to shake now.
Oh, okay, right. Oh,
yes,
it did happen.
All right. So now we take that, shake those ingredients, and then pour it into our glass.
Oh, great. And I got to do that a second time because there's 2.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wait, it gets cooler.
Oh, okay.
This is the fun part. Wait till you see this. If Anna was here, she'd have on her little fireman's hat. Now, this is Michelle's drink. This is why I said, like, this one was complex. We're going to put on our smoking gun, which is actually the smoking gun that we're giving away. And we are going to smoke the cocktail.
So what kind of wood is this?
This is apple wood. It did say like pear or something, but look at that smoke going in there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome.
So we're smoking our cocktail, putting smoke into the glass.
That looks really neat.
So you keep smoking it, and I'm going to actually switch the camera and just let people see.
How,
Keep going.
Oh gosh, how do you do this? Oh, there we go. All right.
There you go. Now look at this. Look at that smoke drifting into the glass. How cool that looks.
So you just do this until the glass is full?
It can be full. It can be a little bit full. We're going to let it sit there for a while, but look at that. How cool that looks.
That's awesome.
All right. So now, okay.
Done?
Done. We can let that one sit while we make the other cocktail.
All right.
So we're going to use the same shaker.
Don't need that anymore anyways.
Yeah, same 2 ounces of bourbon. Same 75 ounces or 0.75 ounce of lemon juice. Same 0.75 of the ginger syrup.
Oh my gosh. This is elaborate.
I know. That's why I made it last night, because I was actually pretty nervous. I was like, dear God. Same orange bitters. And you have to do the shaky dance again.
Okay, I could do that.
All right. So now we strain it into the glass again.
I feel like at a restaurant they would make this line look a lot prettier.
Probably. Probably.
We can work on that.
All right.
That's okay.
Now we've taken the top off this, and look at all the smoke that's in there. How cool that looks.
Yeah, it's just sitting in there.
And now we're going to add just a smidge more apple chips, and you're going to smoke this one.
Okay. It smells really good too.
Mm-hmm.
That smoke.
And then while you do that, I'm going to make some garnish.
Oh yeah, need that.
Whoops.
Whoop. Oh wow. It's really getting fiery this time.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Make another garnish with lemon rind. Get some cocktail sticks. Throwing on some blackberries. See, I love watching the smoke go into the glass. I think it's so neat.
Mm-hmm.
Blackberries and lemon rind. Whoops.
This one's not getting as smoky as the last one. I wonder if it's just because it had those other wood chips on the bottom.
Keep going. Just keep getting it nice and fiery. We can always empty the wood chips, so here, hold tight.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just the old wood chips on the bottom.
Sure, give it another shot.
Yeah.
We'll see if new wood chips makes a difference.
Yes, there we go.
There.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Yeah, look at that. Look at that smoke coming out now.
So see, old wood chips make a difference.
All right. Yeah, I think they're just
right up
clogging the bottom.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, look at this fire.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Pull
Done?
it off.
Okay.
All right.
There you
Now, look at this cup, all full of smoke with our garnish here on the side. Oops.
Oh my
Really
goodness.
not having good luck with blackberries today. But there's our garnish into the glass. But there is our smoky capital. So.
It is like.
All right,
it's
now you gotta
smoky in
try
here.
it.
I hope you can see us.
You gotta try it now.
Okay.
Gonna get everything out of the way.
Ooh, this is
because it has
good.
so many ingredients.
I know. This is wild.
Now, actually, so last night the one thing Clint and I did is because I made one for me and one for him, and we actually stirred one and didn't stir the other because there is the blackberries on the bottom, and we were like, well, what's the difference with it stirred? So if you stir it, it's actually sweeter. Where if you don't stir it, it's not as sweet and it's more kind of tangy. So it just depends on what you like.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's so smart. I feel like I need a straw with this glass.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it without first though, or like without stirring it. Can I try it now? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay.
Here's your straw.
All right. Yep. Tangy.
Yeah.
Without stirring it.
Without stirring it.
Oh man.
And that's with stirring it. I know once you stir it, everything kind of gets involved.
Yeah.
And that's why we were really curious. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, totally. That's definitely like a.
I don't know. I think these are the blackberries are gonna get caught in these.
Yeah, I can't get any out.
I think it's a sipper.
This is definitely a sipper.
But you need to sip it because you have to smell the smoke.
You do. That's true.
You have to sip it.
It is pretty good.
No straws.
This is definitely. Oh yeah, I'm gonna step on that blackberry for sure. Campfire drink.
Yeah, but the smoking is fun.
It is fun. You need to drink this when you're out camping with some friends and it's late at night. But it's summer with the fruit.
100%. All right. So, would you recommend this to friends?
Yeah, I would. In the right situation. I don't think I would like have people over to a dinner party and present this drink until I get really good at doing that.
The lines,
because my lines just don't look that nice.
Well, and also too is you could put it into more of like a coupe glass, or you could put it into a more of a rocks glass. We had it in a rocks glass last night. Yeah. I actually thought with the smoking part that it would look cooler in this kind of brandy snifter,
right?
Which is why I did it, so we could see more of the smoke and get more of the smoke in there. So honestly, your glass is as much part of the cocktail as the cocktail, as the alcohol and everything in it. So definitely it's something about it.
Yeah, the presentation is key. And I think you're right. With a rocks glass, it would be, the presentation would be better. But it is good.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's kind of sweet. It's not as alcohol forward as I thought it would be.
No.
Especially with 2 ounces of bourbon in there. Like, it's a lot of alcohol. So it's, and actually bourbon, lime juice, syrup, that's all that's in there, and some bitters.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
and
like
then the
relatively simple besides all the extra potions you have to make before.
It is amazing though how smoky the glass smells. So, all right. Okay.
That's a really funky machine.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to talk about myth versus truth when it comes to capital gains. This is actually a really confusing topic for most people. It's even a confusing topic, honestly, for realtors. It is always best and is always recommended that you get advice from an accountant because we are not registered accountants. We cannot give you tax advice. We're going to tell you what we know, what we've researched, what we've learned, what we've been told. And then at the end of the day, it is direly important that you always talk to a tax lawyer or a tax accountant before making any decisions when it comes to your finances and taxes. So we're only talking about capital gains when it comes to houses because obviously that's what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about capital gains when it comes to cashing in stock and other kind of investments. We're just going to talk about capital gains when it comes to houses.
Yeah.
So here is a myth, is that you don't have to pay capital gains in your primary residence. So That's a myth that goes around all the time. Now, 99.99% of the time, that's true. But if you've used your house as a rental at any point in time, if you've had it as an investment property, if you've even used a business or something, it might be subject to capital gains during that period. So it might not be the entire time you live there, but it might be the portion that you didn't live there, the growth during that portion, the profit during that portion is actually subject to capital gains.
So my question to you then is, as realtors, and we're running our businesses out of our homes, and let's say my office is 10% of the square footage of the house.
Talk to an accountant.
Then, yeah, fair enough.
So, and you only pay capital gains on houses that you've bought for profit. Now, this is actually a myth that's true. When you buy a house solely and only for profit, and you've never lived in it or anything like that, and none of your immediate family or anything like that has ever lived in it, that property is subject to capital gains. But how capital gains are calculated is a very tricky beast. Now, this is actually something that's happening right now that fascinates me, and I understand why they do it and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to talk about why they do it, but it is a fascinating beast to me. So what happened is, during the term of Justin Trudeau, he actually put forward a bill, or someone in his party did, suggesting that capital gains on proceeds or income earning higher than $250,000 in a year, or sorry, in its lifetime, should be increased to 66% of capital gains instead of 50. Now, that bill was put forward. It was never taken to royal assent, which is what makes a bill a law. The bill was put forward, it was introduced in the House, and what Revenue Canada does is, so nobody gets the upper hand on anyone, is as soon as the bill is introduced in Parliament, they immediately start enforcing it. Now, they did that with this bill, but because of everything that went on with our government and the government falling and all that kind of stuff, the bill never made it to royal assent before they dissolved Parliament. So now we have this bill out there that, as of right now, both parties are suggesting that they're not going to be bringing this capital gains increase back to Parliament when they come back sitting in Parliament Hill. Now, they might still. Never trust a politician until you actually see them do it. But True. If they don't, that means that all these people have been paying 66% capital gains on their growth. All the people that liquefied a bunch of assets might now be subject to actually a refund by our federal government, bringing them back down to the 50% because the law was never actually changed. Which is interesting.
That is really interesting.
It is interesting. So that's one thing. Now, understand, when we're saying you're at 55% or 66%, it does not mean that if you had 100% or $100,000 of gain, that you would pay $66,000 back to the government. It means, or 50. So we'll use the law that is actually the law. So it does not mean that you'll pay $50,000 of your $100,000 in taxes back to the government. It means that the government is going to take the whole $100,000 and they're going to tax 50% of it at your tax rate. So that means that if you're at a 20% tax rate, then you're going to be at a 20% tax rate. If you're at a 30% tax rate, you're going to be at a 30% tax rate, only on the 50% of the profit.
And so, just to discuss this a little bit further, if that money bumps you into the next tax bracket, I think people sometimes think that that's now the tax bracket that all of their money is going to be taxed into. And
we have an escalating tax thing. So 0 to 55,000, I think, is taxed at 15%. 55,000 to 100,000 is taxed at, I think, 20.5%, and then 100,000 to like 175 is taxed at 26%, and so on and so forth.
And so basically what I was saying with that is, like, just don't be scared that if you are going to sell a property and this tax or this next amount of money is going to bump you up into the next tax bracket, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to be in that tax bracket, Don't worry, more money is better.
Yeah, exactly. and
always better.
it's only the money over that next tax bracket that's being taxed at the higher
Yeah.
amount. Now, something else, actually, another myth that a lot of people have is that if you inherit a property, that you don't have to pay capital gains. Now, realistically, again, this all depends. Are you selling the property inside the estate? Are you keeping it after and then selling the property? So all of these things make sense now, or make a big difference. So you really have to be careful and talk to an accountant about when you're selling that property. Did the person who you're taking the property over from that passed away, that you inherited it from, did they use it as an investment property? Did they use it as a primary residence? Did they, when they sold it, all those kind of things matter. So you really need to talk to a tax accountant when you're looking at inheritance and you're looking at selling those properties. Are you selling it inside of the estate? Or are you selling it outside of the estate? All of that matters. Now, the other thing, though, that too does matter, and this maybe comes back to rental and inheritance, is that if you've bought a property for $100,000 and then when it's finally grown to $200,000, you move out and you go live somewhere else and you use it as a rental. And then now it goes up to $300,000 while it's a rental. Your capital gains is only on the portion from 200 to 300,000, not on the 100 to 200, because it's only the growth during the time, only the profit during the time that you used it to make money. And so then it does talk about, is the capital gains, that's another myth, is it a fixed percentage? Well, it does vary from person to person, but generally it's 50%, except for when they're enforcing the new bill that hasn't actually been to royal assent, that isn't technically legal, but it is legal, and this is just how we all roll. So if you did pay the 66%, you may want to go back and look at the government and say, look, it didn't pass royal assent until it does. Or you guys have a new bill, because actually when they go back to legislature, they actually have to now introduce a new bill, because when the dissolve of the government came, all the bills that hadn't been to royal assent dissolved. Again, not a political lawyer, but that's my understanding. So they have to introduce a new bill now when they go back into the House. And that new bill is going to have to then go through the same process of being voted in, going to royal assent, and all that other kind of stuff. I think, based on what's happening, they're going to have other things on their plate. I hope.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like Pierre Poilievre, he's trying to decrease that capital gains tax on, what is it? Do you know what it is? It's on just all properties or just inherited properties?
I don't know his platform right now.
I should look into it a little bit more, but at least he's looking out for us.
Again, we don't know all their platforms. Here's another one that I actually really, really liked, and I think it's a great myth, is that capital gains doesn't apply to foreign real estate. Here is the one thing to know about Canada. Canada taxes all income worldwide. Doesn't matter if you made it in Canada, doesn't matter if you didn't make it in Canada. If you bought a property, let's say in Costa Rica or in the United States of America, and you sold it for a profit, by all rights, technically, the gain, the profit on that property, no matter where it is in the world, is taxable under capital gains in Canada. So again, just because you didn't buy and sell it here doesn't mean it's tax exempt. So I will tell you that is something, is Canada will tax all income and all properties and everywhere worldwide. It doesn't matter where you make it. What does sometimes matter is tax treaties and how easily they can get the information. Just saying. But you should be honest, because you don't want Revenue Canada coming after you.
So then would you get taxed in two countries, Canada and the country that the property's in?
So because I have multiple incomes in multiple countries because of my real estate, what they do is, so in Costa Rica, I'm taxed up to a 15% tax rate. And then when I declare my income in Canada, Canada then brings me up to my 30 or 43% tax rate. So what Canada will do is say, you've already paid 15% tax to the Costa Rican government. We're going to charge you the extra 15 to 30% tax that we believe you're obligated to pay on top of what the other government has already charged you. So that is generally how it works, or at least how my accountants handle it.
Yeah.
So they can defer or whatever, or deduct the taxes you already paid to that another country, so that you don't pay taxes twice.
Okay.
So, but again, this is why you hire accountants.
Yeah.
I adore my accountant. He has been my accountant for a long time. Great guy, takes good care of me. I actually do think that you will probably save as much money as you spend on an accountant annually than doing it yourself, unless you have an expertise in it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, capital gains is a one-time tax you pay. Technically, at this point, you only pay capital gains when you sell the property.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was actually discussion by our government that they were going to start making us pay. And again, this was in the previous government, so who knows where this is going to go. That they were going to make us pay on perceived gains.
Oh, geez.
I know. I was like, well, how's that going to work? But luckily, that never came to fruition. So when you sell the property, that is when you pay capital gains. Another myth is that people don't think first-time home buyers have to pay capital gains, and that's not true either. It's not true, again, if their house is their primary residence, they never used it as an income property or as a rental property or to run a business or anything like that. So all of those things are not black and white. So basically what we're saying to you is that the capital gains law is gray. Talk to an accountant. 9 times out of 10, if it's your primary, it's probably not going to be subject to capital gains. But always be careful. Always talk to an accountant first, and just make sure. If it is an investment property, good chance, or has been an investment property, good chance it is going to be subject to capital gains. But these are all the things that you now have to talk to your accountant about and verify, and take that into consideration when making the decisions to buy or sell homes. Because at the end of the day, I always tell people the only surprises I like are diamonds, and definitely a massive tax bill from our federal government or provincial or anyone else is not what you want as a surprise after selling a home. And this also comes to with GST. So GST is a whole nother thing, which we've never talked about. But GST is another one that you really want to make sure, because sometimes houses that have been used, had businesses and stuff like that, can be subject to GST, even if it was your primary residence. So again, talk to your accountant. Make sure you know what the answers are. Again, another big one right now that's coming down on GST. Did you use your house as a short-term rental? So they just made clarity in that law that if you used your house as a short-term rental for more than 10% of its ownership, that property can be subject to GST upon sale. Again, not surprises that you want to find out about. So that's my big law. But you know what? Today is Prize Day. So after all that tax talk, which I hate taxes, but actually, sorry, I should say this. When you are deciding, or calculating the profit you earned on the property, it is subject to deducting all of the costs to maintain the property, right? The cost of realtors, the cost of lawyers, the cost of this, the cost of that. We get to deduct those back, so that the actual income is only the income that we actually earned after the expenses. And then the capital gains are actually taxed, decided upon that amount.
So but keep all your receipts.
Seriously. Always keep everything. I call it tax mitigation or tax reclamation.
Exactly.
So
okay, I'll grab my my phone.
Oh yes, sorry.
Anything on it?
So Michelle right now has her phone. So this is what we're giving away. We played with it today. So remember, we played with this today. You saw us play with it, and we are going to be giving this away for you guys to smoke your own cocktails, have fun with it. It comes with everything on the pitcher. It comes with the gun, the fire it up. It comes with the wood. It comes with everything. And honestly, you can make amazing cocktails with the smoke. You can actually, depending on how you have something done, or if you have a certain kind of lid, you can do it for cheese. Smoking cheese is so much fun. All right. Are you spinning?
No. So look at this. Of course, it's giving me an advertisement, and I can't get out of the advertisement.
Hang on one second.
What is going on here? Oh my goodness, of course, right now. Exactly what you want when you're...
Oh no, hang on. Why can't you get out of this?
I don't know.
There. There we go.
All right. Okay.
All right. So glasses winner. Thank you for everyone who liked and shared our show. Here is our spinning to win.
Let's see. Is it
Ta-da!
woohoo?
Ooh, Lynn Glasso. I know who this is. Lynn actually has won before, but she's a lucky little lady, so she is winning again.
Good job, Lynn.
Lynn, I'm so excited because Lynn is coming to my girls' trip in September. This year we're going down actually to wine country in
Woo.
California. So Lynn is going to be smoking us some cocktails. But like we said, for next week, we are giving away these crystal glasses that we showed on yesterday's or last week's show. So these glasses are beautiful crystal coupe glasses. They're not dishwasher friendly, but they are very pretty, and they made a beautiful cocktail last week. So like, share, love our show. That is what we're giving away for the month of April. Please make sure to get your name in. You'll be entered as many times as you like and share our show. And remember that next week, oh God, it's a lot of tax stuff. Oh my gosh, I think April is tax month. I think we're talking about taxes next month.
Yeah.
So we're talking about property tax, and we're going to make a cocktail called the income tax cocktail. I know, right? So we're talking about property tax and income tax. And of course, if you want to like and share our show, you want to do it on Facebook, you want to do it on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and we're actually starting a new cool push on social media, so you're going to see a lot more of us, YouTube and TikTok. So that is all for this week. Please make sure, if you have anyone who's looking at buying or selling a home in real estate, has questions, just wants some good information, there is no obligation. We want to make sure you make a really, really good decision. Please feel free to give us a call at the number on the screen. Michelle, myself, and Anna are all here to help and make sure that you guys make good decisions, because you're spending a lot of money when it comes to real estate, and we want you to win, right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.